Hello, scrapbookers. I am back today with a Victoria Marie challenge. And for this month, Victoria kind of changed up the way she's going to be doing her challenges. And so I am going to be working with Cacie and Christy, who is, let's see, Christy is Christy's Beautiful Life here on YouTube, and Cacie is on here as well, but I'm completely drawing a blank to her YouTube channel, so I will leave links below in the description for both of the ladies' channels that I am working with today. But we decided to come up with the theme and the challenge of using ugly papers from our stash. So we all know, no matter how long or how short you've been scrapbooking, you have those papers that you're like, what the heck was I thinking? And this one is actually not an ugly paper. I like that paper. I don't know why that one made in there, but so I just went into my stash, pulled out some old papers, because I don't know why, but it just happens to be that it's all old papers that are ugly. So this is one, it's not necessarily ugly, but it's just really bold and vibrant and just, and it's also flimsy. Most of these papers are the flimsy kind of papers. And I think most of them I actually got from like a Craigslist sale where she just had a bundle of papers and I just picked them all up for like $5 or $10. So this one, and I'm probably not going to use all of these. I just thought I would show you some of my ugly papers from my stash, and then I would get started scrapbooking. So this is one that I'm like, yee, I don't know if I'm ever in my life going to use this. So I thought I would include that one. Then I had two of these autumn sheets with these leaves, and it's not that it's ugly. I just don't really do scrapbook themed layout or like season themed layouts or anything like that. I don't really scrapbook like that, but I thought maybe I could use these if I could find some autumn pictures. I know I have pictures of the boys playing in the leaves and stuff, so that might be a choice. Oh my goodness, doesn't this just hurt your eyes? So this was in one of those packs that you can get at Michael's and Joann's that has like 180 sheets in it, and it's the flimsy, yucky, kind of paper that you don't want to use these days. I actually have used it in my scrapbooking before, but it is really ugly. Like, I like orange and I like blue and I like this weird grayish color, but all of it together is just like, it kind of hurts my eyes. So I might want to use this one. This one I think came from, I think 10 years ago, 13 years ago, somewhere in there. My mother-in-law asked me what I wanted for my birthday from Creative Memories back when they used to be a company, and because she was really big into them, so I picked out a couple of paper packs. This was one of the pieces of paper that came in it. This other side is pretty. It's kind of this, purplish, reddish, pinkish color, but this side is kind of ugly. I hate the colors, so I thought maybe that could be one. I have a bunch of Thanksgiving pictures from the first time that we were renting a house. Our in-laws came over and they had Thanksgiving at our house. So I thought, well, maybe I could use this kind of, this kind of ugly, yucky paper. And if you like any of these papers, oh, please don't think I'm not insulting you or anything. This is just my opinion. Like, we all have our own opinion about papers, and at one time I used to like this piece of paper, but my outlook has changed on scrapbooking. This one isn't completely ugly, but I probably just really wouldn't use it. I don't know why I have any of these papers still in my stash, but who likes to throw stuff away, right? This other side is a bunch of numbers, which actually wouldn't be too bad if you just cut them out. But I'm gonna have this one in there. This one, I do not like this one at all. This is just a really ugly piece of paper to me. My kids don't really do sports, or they're not in high school, so I don't even know what I would use this for. So I don't know. It's called Vintage Tea Old School from We Are Memory Keepers. I got it on super sale. I think it was probably like 25 cents. Then here is another one of these papers that matches this other floral one, and it was in the same pack. It was just a different color, so I thought I would include that one. And I did the same thing. I cut out a couple flowers already. And then this was also in this same pack. Why would you have like all these colors with all of these colors? Yeah, I don't know. But this one's really ugly. I obviously have used this one. If you've seen my old scrapbooks, you might notice that some of these papers look kind of familiar because I did use these when I was like in college and scrapbooking and all that stuff. So these are just a few of the papers, a few of the ugly papers that I might be using. And if I don't use them, I just thought it would be fun to show you what I pulled out of my stash. And then at the end, you can see what I actually ended up using. So I am going to start fast forwarding now, and I will be back at the end to show you my layout. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Make sure that you go on over to Christy's channel and Cacie's channel. I'm not sure Cacie is going to do a process video, but I think that Christy will. Cacie doesn't do a whole lot of process videos, but Christy and I both do process videos a lot. So keep your eye on her channel for her process videos as well. Thanks so much, guys. Bye.
Okay, so now let's just jump right into the process. So I picked out 3 photos that I really liked, and I am going to decide to use this autumn leaf as my paper mat, and then also this green striped kind of funky background for the background paper. So here I'm just going to glue the photos, these 2 photos, to that autumn leaf paper, which is actually, it's a really cute piece of paper. I'm glad that I decided to use it. And I did also decide to only use these 2 photos. The 3rd photo I figured I could throw into a Project Life, spread, or, do something else like that with it. I did want to keep a little bit down there at the bottom, and then here I'm thinking, okay, I could incorporate maybe this other piece of ugly paper as well. And so I'm going to cut a little bit off of this, and I was thinking, oh, I could do this as kind of like a little border on the top there. And so I'm going to, for some reason it wasn't a full 12 by 12. That was one of the things I didn't really like about this not close to my heart, Creative Memories paper, is it wasn't full 12 by 12. So I had to cut off an inch, probably not even a full inch. And then I had some excess, so I'm going to put some down there on the bottom, and I'm going to have to cut off a little bit more on that one. So it was kind of frustrating that that's how it worked out, but it turned out okay in the end. So here I'm just gluing down that bottom piece, and then I'm still just kind of flustered about that top area. So I am going to add a little bit of gesso. And at first I'm just going to do it to the top and the bottom, and then I'm going to think, well, I think I should probably cover up those numbers because the picture doesn't really have anything to do with the numbers. And at the time I was thinking I was going to put the photo over there to the right hand side. But I don't end up doing it like that. I'm going to just completely cover up that whole middle section. So it's not really going to even matter, but it's okay to cover all your bases just in case. So here I am. Let's see, what am I going to do next? I just made this layout and I don't remember what I did. It's that late at night, and it's really not even that late. Okay, so this is where I decide, okay, I am going to just take up this whole middle piece. So I'm going to cut off some of this other pattern paper, and I'm going to put it right next to the photo. And I'm thinking that this is going to be where I'm going to do my journaling. So I'm going to cut it up, and then I'm going to glue it all down. And then I glue the photo mat down, and I'm not really liking this at all. Like, I just feel like it's ugly. So I don't know, I was kind of looking through my papers, and you can see me tapping my fingers like, what the heck am I going to do? This just looks ugly. So I pulled out this paper that is from the Amy Tangerine What collection is that? I don't remember what collection that is. Let me see if I can find it. It's not from this, I think it's from 3 collections ago. Stitched, that's what it's called. So it's from the Stitched collection. And I decided to put a little decorative edge on it as well. Here I'm thinking, oh, you know what, I need to ink the edges. I kind of wanted the papers to stand out a little bit more against the white. So I am going to use this Close to My Heart ink, and it is called Topiary. And I'm going to do it all around the edge of the layout as well. And I really like the dimension that adds. Okay, so now I'm thinking, okay, I need to do something else because the background is just not looking good to me. So I have these paper stencils. I don't even remember where I got them from, but I've never used them, and I've had them for probably like 4 years now. So I pull them out and I'm like, okay, I'm going to use this ink and I'm just going to kind of do some dabbing and see how that looks. And I really love how that turned out. It turned out so good. And so I'm really glad that I used that stencil. And it doesn't look perfect, like I didn't get it all evenly the same color throughout it, and I think that's what makes it look so good, is it's just perfectly imperfect. So I did both the top and the bottom, and then I was thinking, okay, so now I need to do it over here, but then I kind of felt like the green was going to clash with that blue. It's kind of like a blue but kind of a green at the same time. So I'm going to use some of this golden matte gel, and I'm just going to do just a little bit of stenciling here. And I was thinking that the ink would kind of rub off with the matte gel, but it didn't. And so I'm going to end up just going over top of it with some green. And you can barely even tell that the pattern is there once it dries, because the regular matte gel dries clear. But it does add kind of a nice little texture. So here I'm just going to dry this a little bit, and I decide to kind of fluff up the papers a little bit just to give it some more dimension. And I am going to turn the video off and let this dry, because it was taking forever to dry, which it kind of does that sometimes. So when I come back, I'm going to have a bunch of embellishments. And here I had gone through my stash, and I found this card, or this wood veneer, not wood veneer, this wood grain card, and it's kind of like this tealish blue, and I really, really liked that. I also had this tag that I made. I think I made that with my silhouette. And then I decided, hey, I could cut out some leaves, and I could use these all around the layout as my embellishments. And so I cut them out in 4 different colors. There was a medium blue, a light blue, orange, yellow, and craft. So that's actually what, 5 colors? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, 5 colors. I can count, right? So here I'm just pulling all of these off. I did a ton of them. So I have a bunch left over, so I could do another Project Life page, or something with pictures similar to this, because I do like to take a lot of photos, but I don't always scrapbook them as 12 by 12s. I put them in Project Life pocket pages. Okay, so maybe I should fast forward through this part. I didn't edit it out. I thought, oh, it won't take that long, but apparently it is taking that long. So I did use a cut file, which I will link. I will try to remember to link it below so that you can find the cut file that I used, and it's just from the Silhouette Design Store. Okay, so, and you can also see that I cut tags out of that wood grain material or pattern, and I use my silhouette to do that as well. So here I am just placing my pieces in different spots on the layout. And I'm going to kind of play around with these tags a little bit. I had this Amy Tangerine little wood veneer saying. It says, "Let's go somewhere fun." I just thought that was cute, so I'm going to put some ink on the edges of all of these things, and then I'm going to start gluing them down. And now I'm going to pull out my Zots to glue down that wood veneer, because I knew that probably the ATG gun wouldn't do so well gluing it down. And I'm just going to put it right there where I had it. And then I'm going to use my Zots to glue down these little birds, which I believe those are from Studio Calico, and I've had those for a long time, probably about 2 years at least. So it was fun to finally use those. I'm so bad about buying things and then never using them. I just had to have these birds, wood veneer, and I never used them. Okay, so now I'm just trying to find some really small ones, because this one was, the wood veneer piece was really small. And now I'm going to glue that other bird up there on that wood veneer piece that says, "I dream of you." But see, I was thinking I could use that as my title, so I didn't want it to be "I dream of you." I wanted my title to be "I dream of leaves." And so I put the bird wood veneer on top of the word "you," and it worked out perfectly. Okay, so now here I'm trying to choose my letter thickers that I want to use. And I pulled out 2 different Amy Tangerine ones. There were the transparency ones, which didn't really go very well. They didn't stand out. And so I'm going to use these. And I'm just going to write out the word "leaves." And it looks so good. I really love this alpha. It just worked out perfect for this layout. So the bird wasn't wanting to stay down, so I pulled it up, and then I kind of ruined the wood veneer. So I am trying to make it look better. And it ends up looking just fine. I had to put a bunch of that ink on there, that green ink, to make it not look so funky, because I had ripped part of the wood veneer off, so it was 2 different colors of wood were exposed. And here is where I decided to pop up the bird on a pop dot, but the pop dots weren't sticking for some reason. I don't know why. So I pulled out my Tombow glue, but that wasn't working because it just kept sticking to me. So I was getting really frustrated with it. This layout took a long time. I think it took like an hour and 15 minutes, if not more. Like, if you include the time that I did to cut out all those leaves, like, it probably took an hour and 45 minutes. It was a long time. Okay, so now I am going to start placing the leaves all around the layout, and I'm going to put them in 4 different spots. At first I was just thinking I would just do maybe 2 or 3 spots, but then I end up realizing, a 4th spot is needed, and I really like how it turns out. So here I'm going to kind of mess with this cluster up here by the title. There's going to be a lot of fussing, so prepare yourself for a lot of hemming and hawing. Okay, so I'm just randomly placing these different pieces all around. I think I will kind of fast forward through this because this is a very long video. Like I said, it took an hour and 15 minutes that I recorded, at least. I am going to use my Tombow stamp runner to glue down all of the leaves. And I really just like this. I like the stamp feature of that glue gun for using, or for gluing down little embellishments and things like this. It's really handy. Okay, so now here I have done all of my placement with my leaves. I'm going to kind of fidget with a couple more But for the most part, I am done. So right now you can just see the 3 different cluster areas. I am going to add a 4th one, but for right now, I decide to put away the leaves. I had a couple spares laying around on my desk, so I'm just going to add another one to this cluster over here. And then I am ready to continue on. So I did decide to add a little bit of this green ink to the layout, or to the leaves a little bit, and then I realized, oh no, I forgot to glue down a couple of these, so I'm going to glue those 2 down at the bottom there, and then we are going to move on. And I like the added color that the green ink gives it. So because that bird up by the title didn't want to stick, I pulled out my glue gun, and I'm just going to glue it down with my glue gun. And this is where I decide to add this 4th little cluster of leaves. I'm just going to do a very small one. It's just going to have 3 leaves up there, and I just kind of felt like it needed a little bit more up there in that corner. So there we go. We got those all glued down and inked up, and then I'm going to hot glue gun, or use my hot glue gun to glue down that bird, and that works perfect. It doesn't look amazing, but it works. So that made me happy. And I think that is actually the end of this layout. I will do some journaling on that tag a bit later, but for now, this is the end of the layout. Thanks so much for watching. Make sure that you go on over to Christy's channel and check out her video, and come on over to the Victoria Marie Facebook group as well, where you can see more layouts made with ugly paper. Thanks for watching, guys. We'll talk to you later. Bye.